Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the stream. My name is Drew Demon, and I am the Devil Stockbroker. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let's get started. First of all, how's everybody doing this afternoon? We're getting started just in time for Power Hour today. We've got a few tickers on our list that we're all looking at. It's nice to see everybody. Thank you for joining. As you guys are walking in, please, if you would be so kind, remember to leave a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and if you would be even kinder, please share the video so that other people can join in and get some of this information too. With that, we'll go get into the analysis on one of our latest picks Hell's Trading Floor has entered into. I'd say about half of us got in on Friday, and the stragglers have now been fully entered as of this morning. FFIE, that's Faraday Futures. This has actually been a ticker on our list before. We actually caught Faraday Futures on a few different pops in the past, particularly back in the summer rally. We caught Faraday Futures going all the way from $2.30 all the way up to a $7.70 high over the course of the following 20 days. It was quite a run. Now Faraday Futures popped up on our list again, courtesy of our personal favorite Scourge bot, the analytics bot here at Hell's Trading Floor. And we're starting to see similar volatility. As you can see, the RSI has been red hot all day long, and the MACD has been pushing on the 1 hour chart. We're now starting to see a little bit of a consolidation crossover appearing here outside of the price cloud, which, while that could mean that we are due for some downside, if we look down on the 15-minute, we can see that we've already gone through a consolidation phase where we have a long tail on a big sideways channel. After a bull flag, now we're waiting on this consolidation to come to a close. We've crossed over on the MACD. We have bullish divergence on the RSI, which is excellent. And the volume direction candles are finding support on their moving averages on the 15-minute. So this is all positive signs for Faraday Futures. For those of you who don't know what this company is, Faraday Futures is an EV car company that is in the development phase. Their car is actually pretty damn sexy looking if you would direct your attention to the very nicely put together thumbnail courtesy of Casual Fool, another member of the Hell's Trading Floor team. Thanks, Casual Fool, for the quick work throwing together our thumbnail. We really appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions, please don't be afraid to ask. Trey and Gabriel, I hope that I'm saying your name right. I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much. Anything that I can do to make it better, you be sure to let me know. I'm hearing somebody saying that there's a big echo. Okay. Sounds like it was just one viewer. As long as it wasn't everybody, because God, echoes drive me crazy. I should know. I have one on my HR team. I'm just poking fun, homie. Speaking of which, big shout out to Echo, the new member of Hell's Trading Floor's Goon Squad, and also a longtime contributor for the team. He's also been creating thumbnails for Hell's Trading Floor almost since the beginning. So shout out to you, dude. We're really glad to have you officially part of the Hell's Trading Floor staff. Do you guys have any other tickers that you would like me to look at while we're going forward and analyzing this? If you do, be sure to drop them in the chat. I will see them. For those of you that are sitting on the Discord, go ahead and drop any tickers that you would like me to take a look at or any questions that you have in the live stream questions channel. That's where I'll be looking. Or you know what? Better yet, I'll save y'all time. I'm gonna stare at Hell's Trading Floor chat. We'll just watch there. Okay. So, all right, Omar is requesting a SPY update. We'll go ahead and take a look at the SPY really quickly. SPY should be pretty easy. As a matter of fact, I've got a spare chart over here. I'm not looking at Carvana right now. So, SPY is starting to run up against my stop loss that I had set. It looks like we're getting a little bit of a volatility pop. I'm going to try to exit this position if it drops back to its 200 period moving average so that I don't take the full stop loss, because it's clear that I'm wrong for today. This was a short-term swing, but I am looking to re-enter a short position for the long term, because I don't believe that the market is due for a bull run. This pop, to me, feels a bit like a liquidity grab, because it's kind of coming out of nowhere. I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any activity on the newsreels that tell me that anything is going on. I'm gonna drop a. I'm gonna actually pull up FinViz over on the side here so that I can look for that. So where's my FinViz? Oh, here's my Google window. I want to check and see if there's any big news coming up that could have catalyzed this, because I really, really don't see anything. There's big focus on the Fed rate decision. Am I missing some big date that no one told me about? Am I missing something? Tomorrow is the inflation rate data. Okay. So there's big expectations for the inflation rate. This seems like a lot of optimism. Okay, so I got stopped out of my swing, but that's okay. We only play what we're willing to lose here. We'll get another grab once we see what the market's doing tomorrow. I probably had my stop loss a little bit too close. I entered into the position back here on Friday, and I caught this drop down here, took a little bit of profit, and then added to my position again. Now I'm stopped out, so it's a net loss for me, but that's okay. It's not a huge deal. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of our other tickers while we're waiting on the SPY to finish doing whatever the hell it's doing. This is an unexpected move. It's kind of exciting. I don't really want to pull away, but I see that metamaterials is starting to move too. So we'll go ahead and jump over to that really quickly. We'll look at metamaterials 5-minute chart. Yeah, this one's popping. So interestingly enough, I was looking at the MMTLP situation, and I feel really bad for everybody that's stuck in MMTLP right now, because the delisting decision, well, rather the halt decision by FINRA, I dug further into it, and it does make sense. The reason why they halted the ticker doesn't mean that it doesn't screw a whole bunch of people over, and I do still question the motives of the decision. But the excuse they're using is 2-day settlement. All of the trades would never have settled in time. And that by itself was enough of an issue to justify them halting the ticker until it delists. So a lot of people got really mad at me on Twitter for pointing this out and expressing that that money's basically gone now, because once it transfers over to the new ticker, I forget what the symbol is, but MMTLP is going to become something else. Newbridge is what I hear the company is being called, which is going to be listed as a private company. It's not going to be trading on the NASDAQ anymore. So I'm not sure what it's not even going to be on OTC markets anymore. So everybody who's holding on to that is going to be holding on to a private company. You can't trade those shares. You can't sell them. You can't take profit on them. And there's not going to be a quote price on them. So basically those are not worth anything until the company goes public. There's no telling when that will be, and there's no telling what the price will be, which is a very similar, but I would almost venture as far to say is it's a worse situation than what than what SPRT faced when I called that squeeze out a long time ago. That was back in August and September of 2021. I'm looking through the news over here. And it looks to me U.S. stocks advanced and Treasury yields climbed at the start of the pivotal week for monetary policy decisions from the Federal Reserve, European Central Bank, and a host of their peers. S&P is less than 1%. All eyes will be on the U.S. Consumer Price Index reading on Tuesday, which is expected to show prices. There was something else in addition to that the consumer survey was showing that prices were declining and consumer spending was rising, which the market loved to see, and that was also contributing. Now I'm really wondering because the CPI print, while it could be bullish, I'm somehow doubtful because PPI was actually really hot. But there may be a 1 month lag period before we see producer prices reflect in the CPI because it takes time for the manufacturers and producers index to reflect in core inflation. That's just my theory. That's not something that I can base on anything other than just my own personal observations of the market. It's not based on like any known existing fundamental thesis of the financial markets. It's just what I've noticed is that there seems to be the staggered effect between PPI and CPI. Go ahead and take a look at some of the others. AMC is sadly still getting hit at this level of resistance, and it does seem to be getting rejected. So AMC printed an evening star right here on this red candle. So I'm thinking that AMC is going to have to retrace back to VWAP and test it again. So we may see a VWAP bounce off of AMC today. Let's go back to the SPY. SPY is starting to finally get rejected here. I really want to be in a position for the SPY on my paper account, but it sure is making it really difficult to decide. Because one possibility that I can see for the market is that we'll get the Powell pump and we'll tap this 200 daily moving average that's right here. If we hit this 200 daily moving average again, I think we come straight back down. I'm basically looking for a repeat of the Jackson Hole conference when Powell stepped onto the podium and everyone's like, yeah, market go, boo! And then everything started going straight up into the stratosphere. And then Powell said, we are not going to pivot. We are going to burn your market to the ground. And then he stepped off the podium and everything just came out of the sky in a ball of flames. Hey guys, sorry about the charts. There's a bit of a delay, but you'll see the charts. You should see them now. You should see the charts now. I'll try not to bounce back and forth between my my Chrome reader so we can focus on the charts here. So here's Faraday futures again. I'm liking the strength. So on the 5 minute, what we saw from Faraday futures was we got a retracement of about, I think it was a 60, the 62 retracement level. It was just below the 50. So we hit the 50 level and then we kind of undercut it a little bit along with the 50 period EMA on the 5 minute chart. So this is a nice strong level of support and I like the look of it. So I'm actually going to mark this position so I remember it. This is the 50% retracement level for this last move. Now what we want to see is for this thing to break VWAP again and then test and break this level of resistance. So we're probably going to see FFIE trade in a channel for a little while it gathers some strength, but I'm liking the volume direction candles. It was very nice. The volume recently, over the last few hours today, has slowed down quite a bit. A lot of people have been asking. I see the question getting raised is how did we spot this? So the way that we spotted this was we actually were relying on ScourgeBot. We have a new screener system that we've been using. Give me 2 seconds, and I will pull that up. Give me a second. Okay, so we have this screener system right here with ScourgeBot. And if you look at the screener, every single day we get our short exempt SER results that pop up. These populate every single day. We do it at beginning and end of day. And what you can see is you can see all the tickers that have the largest amount of short exempts. So you can see we have quite a few tickers. MMAT is one of them. So this popped up yesterday, or rather, not yesterday, but Friday. MMAT was one of the top tickers for short exempt ratio. We looked at all of these, and MMAT and SMMT were the two that showed the most promise as far as catalysts and sentiment. TCDA didn't really have a whole lot of trading volume or interest in it, so there's not much liquidity there. Cold was an ETF, so we don't count that. And VGFC is going bankrupt. It's really dangerous, so I'm not paying attention to it. MMAT and SMMT were both very promising. Carvana we're also paying attention to, but that is also a dangerous play because they are also facing bankruptcy. So that's something that we have to be really cautious of. FFIE right now, the big danger with these guys is that they do have a shelf offering and they did have a successful shareholder vote to begin a reverse split. So this pump that's happening right now, I am expecting has something to do with that expected reverse split. So that's what everyone needs to be really careful of with FFIE, Faraday Futures, because that reverse split does seem very likely at this point. If they do reverse split, it will probably attract bears and shorts to attack it very quickly. That's just what happens with reverse splits. These guys need to stay listed on the NASDAQ. They have a good car that looks really cool. And they do have real financing behind them. If I were to go and pull up their financials, these guys are not in danger of bankruptcy. Let me go pull up their balance sheet. They have about 60 million in debt, but they have a ton of shareholder equity and liabilities, and their total assets, including current assets, are made up of $33.93 million in just cash. So they have about half of their debt sitting in cash in the bank, ready to be used. So they're okay. They're paying down debt, or rather they're using their debt effectively in order to get their car production system up and running and bring it to market. So if this car gets to production level, this is actually a candidate for a competitor to Tesla. We were digging into this one over the weekend, and we liked a lot of things about it. The only problem is that this is going to be a long-term investment to get there, but what we observed on the screener is a very short-term pop in liquidity and market maker interest, which that's precisely what happened with Mullen. If you guys were here around with me when Mullen popped back in February of this year, Mullen had a record high number of short exempts that hit the market for this ticker, and the price was getting just pounded. Ever since they had IPO'd back in November of the previous year, their stock was just going down, 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 down. And Near the very bottom, the short exempts were absurd. The amount of volume and short volume was extraordinarily high, more than 3 to 5 times what the stock was traded, more than 3 to 5 times what the float was, I should say, was being traded per day. And what I observed was that the short exempt ratio proved that there were more short exempts used in a single day than there was float for the stock, which means that market makers were exclusively using short exempts to provide liquidity to the market and not actually locating the shares. It was mathematically impossible that they could have located all those shares. And that was what pissed me off about it, because I knew that it was a manipulative tactic used to push the price down so they could get a better price and make money off of traders who were buying the stock because they were interested. And that was just when Mullen was starting to get steam. And because I pointed out this mathematical fallacy that logically made no sense for how they were able to provide this infinite liquidity on Mullen, that's what, I guess, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and everybody started paying attention to it at once, and it really attracted a lot of people to the stock. Um, I'm not going to I'm not going to suggest that I was like the person that caused Mullen to squeeze, but it was the short exempts by itself were reason enough. Okay, so SPY is going to continue to pump upward. Let's go ahead and catch this on the 3-minute. Let me see if we can catch a scalp on this. See, the RSI is a little bit blown out, but it's still going strong. So I'm gonna catch a scalp here. Try and get some of that money back. Because it broke out. It broke this level. Like this candle is about to close in 15 seconds, and we're gonna see this thing pop. Because it's gonna close above this wick here from where I last traded it. Funny enough, like I top ticked. I top ticked the SPY here, which was pretty hilarious. Okay. Just going to let this play out, and I'm going to go jump back over to FFIE. Okay, let's see. MMAT. Oh boy. What just happened? What just happened? Somebody just hit this thing. So what just happened? Something happened to MMAT news. Let me go back to FinBiz. Something happened to MMAT. That's a big kill candle. I'm looking, guys. I'm looking to figure out what the hell's going on. investor place is putting out a FUD piece saying that people need to sell MMAT now because of MMTLP. They published it 30 minutes ago. Yeah. They're citing the stock petition for MMTLP as part of the reason for this. They're mainly just covering the news of the petition for MMTLP to go back on the listings for OTC stock trading, but I think they're kind of having a go at investors for even suggesting it. Well, somebody's hammering it right now. So I would expect this thing to return to VWAP at the very least. At the very least, it's going to be returning to VWAP. It's getting punished. So let's go back to FFIE right now. Still holding its VWAP lower band and rising on the 20-period EMA for the 5-minute chart. It is still trading below VWAP. I would love to see it break VWAP before end of day. Right now, there's a lot of people that are bagged up here that caught the top at the wrong time. That's quite a lot of volume here. Yeah, that's about 43 million shares of volume traded up there above 50 cents. Now, not quite that much. It's closer to 20 million. But we've got a good sign of strength, and I see that we're now forming an inverse head and shoulders. It's starting to get there. So keep an eye out for it. FFIE's got good consolidation, and we've got a cross down and cross up here forming on the MACD. We need to see a push right here for a sign of strength. We need to break the volume average here. So volume average is placed at around 43.5 cents. So we need to see at least a few candles close above 43.5 cents for us to confidently say that we are due for a sign of strength. But the volume shelf over here looks very good. This is where most of the trading has occurred, has been right in this price range. So out of this 52, 53 million shares of volume trading, most of it is happening right here around this 42, 44 cent level. If we get a breakout above here, then we can return back to the 50 level. There's a lot less volume between 45 and 49 cents. Charles Payne interview a little while ago. Kenny G, nice name by the way. Are you referring to MMAT or something else there? Raz? No, I haven't. Well, I was looking at Party. That's Party City, right? I was looking at it some time ago, but I only day traded it a couple of times. I didn't actually play it. All right, Spy's looking good so far. I'm gonna go back to. We'll take a look at PRTY really quickly. I did see that it was on the verge of bankruptcy. Yes. That was one of the reasons why it was just a day trade, and I kind of stayed out of it. The volume direction candles are moving in the right direction. This is bullish right here. It's diverging to the upside while the price is in consolidation. You see this channel here that's sideways. Volume direction candles are pushing up. That tells you a divergence in on balance volume is leaning towards the buy side. So price going up while high volume is trading, that is a sign of strength right here. MACD consolidated pretty nicely. We got a little bit of a pop here. I would expect this to come back down to retest VWAP. It moved really fast. So I would expect a retest of the 50 or the 62 level here. So look for it to return to around 51 cents. I see the move that it's making. It looks pretty good. But this thing is getting hammered right now. Party City is on the verge of bankruptcy. Yeah, way back here is when I was looking at it. I was looking to trade it because of this gap that it created, and I saw it making a run for it. But it ended up getting rejected by the 200 moving average here on the 15-minute, and it never made it. So this is getting hurt pretty badly. I wouldn't suggest going for it right now. I would kind of keep my distance. That's just me. Until I see some other catalysts, like big short exempt volume on this, which I'm happy to go look for, but I don't think it has showed that sign of strength yet. Let me go catch up with the chat really quickly here. Boulay says that Ford is something we're looking at. However, thoughts on these bearish bets for Qs and VIX? That's interesting. Now, I was beginning to wonder because the SPY is pushing so high so fast. I'm kind of looking for it to run into some resistance up here. It's got to be getting close. I'm going to move my stop loss up here so that I take guaranteed profit on this. I might actually get stopped out right away because I did that. But it's okay if I do. Anyway, there's resistance right here on the SPY. I think that most of it is probably going to be right around here. So I'm going to drop my take profit to below this level. So now I have my risk eliminated. I don't have any risk on this trade anymore. I'm guaranteed to get out with profit. I've lowered my take profit expectations down to $165, give or take a few cents. Just because I see this resistance right here, and I don't think the SPY will reach it. So if I get stopped out, I make a $35 profit. It's not a great trade, but it's still, still a profitable trade. Can't complain. But I am going to start looking for I'm going to start looking to go short on this very soon here. I think I'm going to put myself above the simple moving average, this simple 200 period moving average, because I really want to get into a swing for the market downturn. I really, really, really think that Powell's going to punish the market here, and I want to be in a swing down to 375. So I'm going to put in this order for $1,500. That's about 1.5% of my risk. So it's a little bit heavier than I normally go, but this is a pretty heavy swing that I'm going. And I'm choosing this with anticipation that CPI will not be as cool as expected. People are expecting another cold CPI. We've seen this before where the market gets really just unexplainably optimistic just after the market gets like unexplainably optimistic as soon as we're approaching the CPI date. And then once we actually get the print, then it tanks. And of course, Powell comes out onto the stage and makes a big speech about it, and says, "Oh, we're very conscious of how our decisions affect the market." And of course, the market takes a dive. So that's kind of what I'm watching for. All right, we'll take a look over at with one more peek at Faraday. Yes, it broke VWAP. All right, let's go. All right, FFIE just broke VWAP, just like I said. We got the crossover that we were looking for on MACD, and now the volume direction candles. We've had a breakout on the volume direction candles. This is what I was waiting for. This big green candle right here on the volume direction candles, that's a winner. So that one's going to make a run for, I'm going to say we'll see. I'm going to say that we'll see 48 at least. But 49 is the price target that I'd be going for on a day trade, just like a short, like a really, really quick 30-minute to 1 hour play. We've only got about 20 minutes left in the market. So, but we'll see how things go tomorrow. Tomorrow could be even more crazy. We'll see how things react once the market gets its reaction from the CPI data. If CPI does end up being cold, memes will run too. But if the CPI print comes out hot with high inflation numbers, higher than expected, then it's not going to be good for anyone. Okay, I'm going to do a quick analysis on Party City just to see if it has had any interesting short exempt data in the last month. I don't think it has, but I'll double check just because it was brought up. I was looking at Morgan Stanley for a short position. I think I might enter that in. Yeah, I think I am going to enter that today. This is the double top that I was waiting for. Their dividend is coming soon, so I'm going to take my short on Morgan. That's a nice 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. I can be very happy with that. Sorry for the distraction, guys. I'm doing multiple things at one time. Okay. All right. I got my trade on Morgan Stanley. For those wondering, my reasons for choosing Morgan Stanley is because it's attached to Bank of America. Bank of America published its dividend and they got reamed because their dividend, well, this was going to be their last good dividend where they had an increased dividend price. Now the market is reacting very poorly to the stock and people are cashing out now that they have received their dividend. Okay, I've got the results from Party City, from Scourge. Short exempt ratio has been interestingly hot. So 2 seconds here. Yeah, we did get some interesting prints. On the 7th, we had a mirror signal with 4.139 short exempt ratio. 2 days before that, 7.76% short exempt ratio. And on Friday, we had 5.9, I'm going to say. The price is still getting pushed down, though. Okay. So why am I paying attention to short exempt ratio? That tells me how much of a stock's daily shorting activity was done by market makers using short exempt shares, which are exempt from the locate rule. It's basically, that's the liquidity fairy that what's his ass was talking about. I forget the guy's name, but the CEO of Virtu. The CEO of Virtu made a statement of like, "Oh, where is this liquidity going to come from? The liquidity fairy, that guy." Well, short exempts are the liquidity fairy. That's the fountain of youth that has this unlimited draw of liquidity that they can pull from. Okay. So we did get bullish divergence on the daily chart for Party City. That is interesting. I did see this. So we got bullish divergence on the RSI. We have the crossover now. Price has created a new lower low. So if the price continues to go into decline, you get a new lower low in the price, but a higher low in the RSI, like so. Then that is another bullish divergence signal after this crossover has happened. The problem I have with it is that the crossover did not touch outside of the price cloud. For me, my rule is that this has to come outside of the price cloud before the crossover happens in order for it to actually signal a bottom. So Party City may not be done moving down yet. They have a lot of negative momentum right now because of that bankruptcy notice, but there is very clearly some shenanigans going on from market makers, so I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'll add Party City to my watch list. So I'll keep an eye on this one. I'm putting it down here because it's not one that I'm looking at like all the time, but I will be looking at it. I'm going to take Lily off of this. I don't need... See, how's Neo doing? Neo's finally starting to look like it's gathering some strength. So I'm still going to be paying attention to Neo. Nokia, that one's also looking pretty good after its earnings. Had a really nice earnings. IBM shocked me. It blasted through after earnings. It's crazy. It's probably overextended here. I might be looking to short IBM, to be honest with you. It was quite a run. Let's go take a look at what SPY and HYG are doing. Interesting. Okay, we got a rejection and bearish divergence here. Okay. All right. So on the daily chart, HYG is actually outperforming the SPY, but no divergence yet. We're actually about to get a bullish crossover on HYG and SPY MACD after a touch outside the price cloud. So this might mean continuation. I'm going to be really cautious about it though, because still struggling to trust the market. The CPI print could be devastating. Hey, we hit our take profit on the SPY. That's $160 in the bag. Oh, no, I'm wrong. It hit the stop loss that I set. I was a bit too close with it. That's okay, though. It was still profit. I'm going to take it. And I'm going to re-enter into that short position that I talked about once we see what happens. If I don't get the entrance today, then I'll wait to see what happens after the CPI print and how the market reacts to that. So tomorrow will be interesting. Tomorrow will be very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what the results of CPI print is. Let me go catch back up with the trading floor. If you guys want to catch my attention in the Discord trading floor, do me a favor and throw an @ on me. Just mention me so that I can actually jump directly to the message. See General Disarray saying SPY and Ford seem to be, seem to be following each other. I haven't looked at Ford yet, so that's my bad. But Ford is acting very interesting. Let's see what's going on here. So Ford is struggling just below its 30-minute 200 period moving. What is it? It's on the daily. Ford got rejected by its 200 EMA with this evening star. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I see big head and shoulders here on the daily chart. It doesn't mean that it can't keep going up in the near term, like intraday, but I think this might gap down tomorrow. There's a lot of gaps that have happened in Ford's chart after these big swings to the upside, and it drops fast. I'd be really cautious on Ford. If you're doing just day trades, then by all means do what you like. But when it comes to the swing, I don't like the look of this. Let me go to the 1 hour. Yeah, it's trading below its 1 hour 200 period moving average, and you're getting all these crossovers to the downside. I think that what you're seeing is just a little bit of a bounce before it makes its next move down. Because this right here, this is a bear pennant. This be a bear pennant. There be bears in these woods. Yeah, I don't like the look of this. It could move up a little bit further intraday, but be really careful about a weekly or a monthly swing, especially on options. I would actually bet against this. VIX up while SPY up. That is actually an interesting divergence that usually means that the market is hedging while the SPY is going up. That's a very bad sign. It's part of the reason why I'm thinking of going short. So let's actually compare, shall we? Let's look at some history. Let's go to the SPY, and then we'll also add the VIX on here. I'll put the VIX here in another pane, and we'll just look at these two by themselves. So we got SPY here, and down here I'm going to put the VIX. So let's look for moments when the SPY was moving up and the VIX also went up. Let's do daily. Here we go. Right here was one case. Back in March, the VIX was continuously moving up intraday over the course of several days. And it dumped afterwards. It's an anomaly for sure, and it's worth paying attention to. Because normally what you see is the VIX moves up as fear takes hold in the market and the market sells off. But when you see the market moving up and the VIX going up together, that's weird. That's very, very, very weird. We don't see that happen very often. But one thing that I will also say is that the VIX bottomed out, like right here. You look at where the VIX has hit this $19, $20 area for the VIX. has consistently matched up with tops in the market, that should probably scare you. Trading view. Can I have my vertical lines, please? Can I have my vertical lines, please? Okay, that's weird. It's not letting me draw. There we go. Okay, now I got it. All right, so every time the VIX, I'm going to point out every time the VIX touched that level, and it just did it again. That would be what you would call a sign, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we call in the market as a sign. So definitely be really careful about bullish bets on the SPY right now, because the rug pull can come at any time. I feel way safer taking a long-term swing to the downside and just buying, just buy some puts, you know? Just like set a nice beefy stop loss that puts you up above the top of the market. Like, this is the safest stop loss, because if it reaches all the way back up here, then you know you're wrong. And you set your take profit back to the last low in the market. Or you could go down here if you wanted to take a more modest take profit and not wait so long, because this might take a few weeks, but this one might take 2 or 3 months. Better risk to reward ratio, but you're going to be waiting a while. But VIX is getting pumpy. The VIX is getting very pumpy. And the SPY is stagnating. And it's hovering right below its 200 period EMA. So these are all signs of bad news. I don't think the CPI print is going to be as good as everybody hopes it will be. Very weird that the VIX is going up while the market is going up, though. I definitely don't trust that. That's telling me all kinds of scary stuff. So, let's jump back over to FFIE. It is breaking VWAP. Yes, we've had 2 candle closes above VWAP. That's beautiful. That's very, very beautiful. I'm loving this. FFIE is the first really good penny pick we've had in a while. I know that everybody loves the penny picks. It's something that's approachable to everybody. It's low risk as compared to having to put a $100 bet down on SPY all the time. This is something that everybody can approach and be like, okay, I can afford a call for this. That'll only cost me like $10 or $20 for a call on this. And you can squeak out a 20, 30% profit on it quite easily if you time it right. This thing has started to run, though. And again, I want to warn everybody, there is the potential for a reverse split in this, okay? So let it be said, there is the potential for a reverse split. They have already voted on it. It has been approved by shareholders. It is possible they can reverse split at any time. So just know that when you go into this. And if you see the news of a reverse split, then that means it's time to get out, okay? Just be aware. I really do get upset when I hear from everybody that, oh, you never warned me. Like, you needed to be paying attention. I say it all the time. Like, I talked about it with Excella. I talked about it with Mullen. There's so many tickers I've covered where I'm like, here's the pros, here's the cons. And, you know, I can't draw everybody a map, you know? So just take everything with, with that in mind, that there's always the risk. There's always a risk. Okay. All right, so I see a lot of requests for different tickers. Let me catch up with some of these. I'll take a look at SNBR. Okay, Sleep Number Corporation. Nice earnings report says it got a 280% surprise. That's actually pretty impressive. The revenue is a little better as well. I guess everybody needed new mattresses. So Sleep Number is apparently doing quite nicely. Whoops. Let me fix this and get my data back on here. Okay. So we haven't had a touch outside of the price cloud, but we are seeing some consolidation here on the daily. It looks like it's getting close to a bottom. It's thinking about it, but you need to be very careful of this symmetrical triangle that has started to the downside. This could be the beginnings of a bear pennant form. And if that's the case, then it would still have further down to go. So I don't know anything about the fundamentals of Sleep Number right now, but the technicals suggest that it's still in bearish territory at the moment. Wait to see how it reacts to the 50-period EMA that's on the daily chart, this green line right here. The 50 EMA is a big area of resistance for any stock. If it breaks and holds it and stays trading above it as the 200 moving average continues to come down towards earnings, this date range right here, this is where you will look to make an entry before earnings. But wait to see how this plays out, because if it bounces around like this and then breaks to the downside going into earnings, you're going to be sad that you bought here instead of down here. Requires a bit of patience for this kind of a swing. That's going to be the closing bell here in 30 seconds. I need to quickly take a look at the stock heat map. Okay, daily, the market is still very red. Tesla was the big performer along with Netflix and AV Go. Let's go back to SPY and see where we're ending at. Am I going to get my fill? Am I going to get my fill? Oh, am I going to get it? Am I going to get it? Nope, I am not. It stopped just short. Just short. Look at how close that was. Look at how close that was. My sell limit was just 5 cents away. 5 cents away. Dang. All right. Well, that is okay. We'll get it tomorrow. I would normally just go ahead and get the fill right now, but I couldn't be fast enough, and TradingView paper trades don't let me take the trades after hours. For whatever reason, they don't let you do after-hour trading. I do need to have a jingle for the market bell. Oh, wait a second. I have a brilliant and amazing idea. Give me 2 seconds. I need to see I need to try something. Okay, that's amazing. All right, here we go. There's the bell. That's the market bell. If you do not recognize what game that sound is from, then you have not lived. That sound right there should haunt all of you who were children of the 90s. Oh man. It's not Dark Souls. No, it's not Dark Souls. I can't play AC/DC or anything like that that's copyright. I'll get a copyright strike. I can't do it. That would be hilarious, though. Like, that would be funny. Thoughts on PBLA? PBLA? I know PBLY is Playboy. It's PBLA. Panbella Therapeutics. Let me know if this is the ticker that you wanted me to look at there. MS. Docs the Fox. I have Mullen banned on my Twitter, so I don't have to see it on my feeds. I'm sorry that it's that much of a sore spot. I feel it though. David McCree is like really, really shady character. All right, so there's a lot of consolidation happening, and I see the volume coming into it. Let me add the volume direction candles to this. Take a look at this chart. Okay, no. No, this isn't ready to go yet. The volume here suggests that there's a big institutional seller that's targeting this thing. I bet there's a reverse split coming for this. I'd bet money on something like they're going to reverse split or they're going to dilute right now is in the works. So I'd be really cautious about this one. I don't know anything about their fundamentals. I don't know what they're developing. I don't know what stage in their FDA approval or whatever it is. I don't know if they're doing drugs or technology. I don't know. But what I can tell you by the technicals is that it looks really bad. I do not see a bottom yet. It's getting close, but it's not there yet. You've gone through all of this consolidation phase now for the last 3 months now. You've been in the sideways channel for about 2 months. Now you have to wait, and now is the time where you have to wait and be patient. The situation is when you see it break this level, there is a clear level of resistance right here at 15 cents. You see it break 15 cents, that's when you start paying attention, but not before. If this thing reverse splits, then you start looking for the next level of support. But right now, this is the range. It is range bound between 15 and 8 cents. Until it breaks one of those levels, you do not make a decision. That is the rule with this one. Not financial advice. I don't know anything about this stock. I don't have any information about their fundamentals, their finances, or internal insider activity. But I wouldn't touch this until you get 1, a fundamental catalyst, 2, insider buys, 3, volume, big volume, and enough to send the price past $15. This is your marker that you need to break. If you can't get above that, then this thing's not in good shape. Stay away from it. It's dangerous. That's the best I can offer you as far as my insight into this one. It just doesn't look healthy. Okay. Let me catch up with everybody. I still haven't seen anybody guess what the game was that bell sound was from. I'm so sad. I feel so alone right now. There has to be somebody who knows. JP Morgan Trading Desk expects an S&P rally of up to 10% on a soft CPI rating. Oh, they're very optimistic, aren't they? Oh, they are so optimistic. Let's see. All right, I'll play the sound again. And I'm going to add that sound effect to like a soundboard or a hotkey or something just for that. All right, you tell me if y'all recognize that sound. Someone says Contra. No, that's not Contra. Oh my god. It's not Castlevania. If I don't know, I've never played Symphony of a Night. Someone got very close. Someone got very close. I want to know the exact name of the game because it's a whole franchise. Thank you. Thank you. Melinda got it. It's Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask when the day starts over. That's the sound of the morning bell. Mortal Kombat. Okay. Let's go cover the last of these tickers. You guys want to go ahead and send me any other last ticker requests. I'm going to remain on stream for 20 more minutes, and then I have a hard cutoff. I am ending at precisely 4:30. You have until then to get all of your tickers read. Let me know if there's something that you would like me to take a look at. If you guys enjoyed the stream, by the way, please do me a favor, leave a like, because that means that if you're here till the end, then you enjoyed the stream, and you should let everybody, including the YouTube algorithm and myself, know so that I feel better about myself. And if you would also be so kind, be sure to share the links and subscribe so that you get notified whenever we do another stream like this. Also, if you want access to all of the market data that we use at Hell's Trading Floor, guess what? We give it away. It's in the trading floor. We have all this data that we use all the time, every single day to find our stock picks and get in early before everybody else because we have ScourgeBot and there's a lot of data that gets plugged into ScourgeBot that we paid for. So if you guys want access to that, you want to learn how to use it, please feel free. Consider joining Hell's Trading Floor at www.hellstradingfloor.com. Okay, Melinda requests Blackberry, not Bed Bath & Beyond. Blackberry, you are the winner. I wish that I could, like, give a gift or something. Okay, so BB is setting up. It bounced exactly off of support at 435. I marked this area out before, right here. This is significant support right here. So if you're bullish, and the RSI would say it's bullish, this is where I would be buying, actually. You've got some pretty good, you got some pretty good setups here. What you're waiting for now is for the MACD to finish consolidating and cross over, and then for there to be another RSI divergence. So we've got the crossover on the 15-minute, but on the daily you don't. So you're waiting for that crossover on the daily. If you don't want to wait for the daily crossover, the 2-hour is pretty good. But I'm still thinking there's going to be some consolidation here. There's good likelihood it channels for a while until it suddenly shows some strength and then finally starts to go back up. Okay, that's just kind of the way that this sort of thing trades. But sometimes you do get these like very short consolidations and then a pop. But consistently, it happens on a V-shaped recovery after it bounces off of that bottom. So you haven't got that immediate bounce up. That means that there's consolidation happening here for expansion. And the only question is will there be expansion to the upside or the downside? Right now, based on this channel, I would say that it's kind of broken the channel to the downside, so it's not looking very healthy. So hence, I would stay out of it until you get a nice big surge of strength from down to up, retest, and run again. And at that point, you might end up looking at something like a cup and handle, something like this. So be on the lookout for a recovery in this one. Set some alerts above and below so that you get notified whenever something happens. Always use chart alerts. It'll help you so much in your trading. And it reduces a lot of your stress because you're not staring at the chart constantly waiting for something to happen, which, believe me, will drive you absolutely crazy. Don't do that to yourself. Please be kind to yourself and your mindset, because your mind is your tool for trading. If you do not have a good, healthy mind, you'll not be a good, healthy trader. Okay. Now, catching up with everybody else. Okay. Net as a short. So Cloudflare. Y'all want to bet against Cloudflare? Well, you are seeing some resistance at the 200 period moving average on the 2-hour, but it has broken it. On the daily, it's breaking the 50. So it did break the 50 and it's heading to the upside. I would actually wait to see it touch the or get close to the 100 period moving average. And this is an EMA, by the way. This orange line right here, this is your 100 daily EMA. I would wait for it to approach this and then take a short position here. Set your stop loss at the last high right here, and then play it back to the downside at the last level of support. You probably go to around here and keep it at a nice 3.5 risk to reward ratio. That means that for every dollar you risk, you are standing to gain $3.50 for each dollar of risk. I'll have to spend some time explaining risk management and risk to reward ratios because I know it's not a very universally understood concept, but it is an important concept to grasp. Having risk management is extremely important to trading success. So please take the time to look it up if you don't know it. And it's okay to not know something. It's much more important to acknowledge if you're unfamiliar with a subject or you don't know what something means. Google it and go find out, or ask somebody. It's very important that you understand all the fundamentals of trading in order to be successful. If you don't, and especially if you don't understand the fundamentals of risk management, it will come back to bite you. I promise you that. If there is one thing that I can guarantee is that if you do not manage your risk in trading, eventually something bad will happen. Unless you have impeccable luck, which nobody has impeccable luck, you will end up in trouble and you will get into a trade that you will regret later if you do not manage your risk. Very, very critical that you manage your risk and learn how to do it effectively. Thoughts on COSM? Only got 13 minutes. I'll do this one really quickly. COSM is, oh, interesting. So we have an indecision doji candle, and we're getting intersection here at the bottom. So what I'm saying by intersection, I mean the closes of these candles are intersecting with the previous candle's bodies. So notice how there's these gaps between these candles here on the daily because of big moves. The wicks are showing that there's a little bit of touches, but when the candles' bodies are intersecting, this is a sign of potential bottoming. And what also tells me this is that the wicks have now crossed through a significant moving average. This 50 EMA right here, which also matches up with the 62% fib level right here, this is an area where the stock seems to have found some support. So you need to wait, you need to be patient and wait for this consolidation phase to end, but there is the potential for a bounce. The one thing you need to be aware of, though, is that it's very, very possible you could end up with a bear flag. Let me get rid of some of these circles here so I can clean up my chart. Okay. So right now, you have this big move to the downside, and you're forming a pennant right here. This is a bearish pennant. So if you end up with this completely forming out a pennant, then what can happen is it'll look like it's finding support. It'll try to make a break to the top and then break back through the downside and continue. And that's what you don't want to get trapped in. You want to make sure that you are seeing a lot of strength, which means you need to see this volume shelf growing big time. You need to see this volume shelf growing, gathering a lot of support here, and you need to see a healthy breakout of the top and for it to hold, and to see a little bull flag instead of a breakdown through the bottom. If you trade this too early and you just trade it as soon, like the very second that it breaks out, like if it does this, then you might get in right away and it'll turn right back around and cut through the bottom of the bear pennant. Because it can overshoot these very easily, and when it does, that's usually the time when it will reverse very quickly. Because that's when short sellers see an opportunity to hit it right at the top when there is the least amount of strength and bulls have overextended themselves. So be very careful here. COSM is very short on liquidity, so there is good potential, but really, really, really be careful with this one now. Okay. Signs of strength and support is that you are trading exactly at the 200 period 1 hour moving average. This red line, that is a significant level of support. And you have this support down here at 30 cents. This level at 30 cents or $29.99, whatever you want to use. This is a very powerful, very strong area of support. So if you see that it is not breaking through here and it's continuing to consolidate, then that can be another sign of strength. So if you continue to see this, then just be patient, wait for the first sign of strength, a breakout and a test, and then grab it on the next move to the upside. Grab it as it's going back up and breaking through this area of resistance right here. This is the area of resistance that you want to see buying pressure in. While it's down here, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but when it's up here, that's when there's the potential for momentum to catch. All right, 9 minutes left. I'm going as fast as I can. Can I look at Bros? Sure. So Bros, Dutch Brothers Incorporated. This is a donut company or bagel company, isn't it? Dutch Brothers Bagels. Okay, so I don't like this bear flag. Their earnings are not so great. They're barely profitable. Very barely profitable. Oh, it's coffee. Okay. Coffee company. Good to know. All right. So I see a couple of things. You do have this ascending line of support here. The stock has bounced off of this level quite a lot. I need to see the PE ratio on this. So I'm going to go look at an overview of it. Okay, so they don't have a PE ratio because they're not paying dividends. There hasn't been enough time trading in the stock market. This thing IPO'd in September 2021, which is sadly the worst time that they could have IPO'd because it was right at the peak of the valuations of the market, and it had just enough time for everybody to start dumping money into their stock and then rip the rug out from under them when the market topped and the rug got pulled. Based out of Grants Pass, Oregon. Huh. Yeah, the volume shelf is pretty thin down here, so I don't know what kind of support there is, but it needs to hold 3150. That much I can tell you. I'm actually going to say $31 is where this thing really needs to make sure that it does not break below. If this breaks below $31, I would start to get really nervous because this can fall much farther. It's been trading. It's spent too little time trading on the exchanges. This is a fresh IPO as far as I'm concerned. So the valuation of the company isn't really well established. The one thing that I do like about it is that it is very rapidly becoming profitable, and we are seeing net income moving in the right direction. I will, based on the income statement from Google Finance, there's very nice momentum where they were at an operating net loss of income, and now they're finally going profitable again. So that is a very good sign for them. Their EBITDA is moving in the right direction, so their debt and amortization is moving in a positive direction. Net income is increasing at a very strong pace. Their revenue year over year is good. Nice, operating at a very nice profit margin. Their balance sheet. Let's see. Their balance sheet shows that they have a pretty high debt to equity ratio or debt to asset ratio. They've only got 57.95 million shares being traded on them, so it's a relatively small float. The market cap it's in good territory. Yeah, it's moving in the right direction. Um so financials on it look good. It's moving in the right direction. As far as like the charts technicals, it would appear that this is a probable bottom, but I would be nervous if it broke down below $31. So, mm, if you're willing to hold it for many years, this could be a great buy. It could absolutely be a good buy. But we are going into a recession, and these companies are going to have a hard time. So we're going to have to see. But if you're willing to wait for the next 5 years, this could be a great company to buy. I'll have to look at it more. But this one would be an investment, not a swing trade. Because this one is very sensitive to the recession. I like the fact that they have very little debt, though. That's encouraging. I do like that. Okay. Last request I'm gonna cover. Let me go look and see who is the one that asked for the ticker last. Pumping crypto right now. MMM is tasty. Yeah, 3M's a good company. That's a good defensive company to buy. There's not really much point in me doing any technical analysis on that one. That one's an industrial powerhouse. Um, I'd be concerned about the rail strike though. There's or potential rail strike tomorrow, 1 to 3 p.m. I want to warn everybody about this. 1 to 3 p.m. There is going to be a rail. There is going to be a rail union protest happening in Washington, D.C. and across the United States at major rail hubs. If they make a call to strike, which it would be an illegal strike based on the executive order made by the president, then that has the potential to blow up really quickly. It could be a bad outcome. But 3M would be particularly exposed to that. So if you see a rail strike, 3M, that's ticker MMM, this one could get hurt pretty badly. Technicals also support a possible move to the downside. It touched just outside the price cloud and crossed down on the daily chart. So this one could get hurt by that. These guys move a lot of product with rail, and they're a major producer. If the rail strike does end up happening, 3M is going to see a big drop in its sales, or rather its production capacity, because they won't be able to move the product out of warehouses very much. That will significantly hurt their ability to transport goods for sale. So something to be very careful of. I don't really see anybody else asking for any other tickers, so I'll cover Tesla. We'll take a quick look at that, and then we'll close it out, because Tesla is one that I was looking at for a possible bounce and a bottom. How come Tesla is showing? Oh, let's see. Wait, whoa, what the heck? What the heck? What happened to the heat map? This was all red before. Was I looking at this on a weekly? No, I wasn't. Something happened. I don't know why my stock heat map was all screwed up, but anyway, Tesla got hit down here, and we have now the potential for a double bottom, but if it breaks down below, look to see a daily close below 166. If Tesla closes below 166, it's going to come further down. That would be a new low for Tesla. And that would also confirm this bear flag. We had a two top here, and we've had a bottom here. Now we need to wait and see what Tesla does. Does it continue to range and do this job like this until earnings? Or does it break the downside and start looking for a new low and support around 125? So somewhere in this area is where I would expect Tesla to trade down to. And that's based off of this area right here. This support for Tesla is the last level of significant support for Tesla since October of 2020. Okay? All right. Train Gabriel, SLV. All right. Well, it's just silver. So the Silver Shares Trust. Silver I would go long on just because it's a good commodity. It's an asset that has a lot of utility. So this one I would see continue moving up for the long term. It's also a good inflation hedge and also a good market recession hedge, just because silver, it holds intrinsic value. It holds its value against the dollar, even when the dollar is highly inflated. And it has multiple uses in semiconductors, manufacturing, and computer technology. So silver for me would be a buy. I think that just about any metals trader would tell you it's never a bad time to buy silver. This one in particular, with the way that with the pandemic, just look at how it reacted when the COVID pandemic was announced. Everybody bought silver because they thought the world was coming to an end, and they needed to hedge their assets against something with intrinsic value. Silver's a good one. Right up there with gold. So, okay, that's it. That's my time. I am past my time, so that's it. I'm closing the stream. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I realize it was a very short one today. We only covered for Power Hour, but thank you guys so much for joining us. If you like the stream, again, please leave a like. It helps out the YouTube algorithm, lets us know that what we're doing is beneficial to you, especially if you like the information. Check out links down in the description if you want to see where we get our data, look at our partners, if you want access to these charts that I use. This is TradingView. We have access to all kinds of amazing market data that we pay literally thousands of dollars for, and we do it just with the support of our amazing members of our Discord, the denizens, hellions, and demons of Hell's Trading Floor. Shout out to every single one of you who's been supporting us for this year. Hell's Trading Floor just had its 1 year anniversary, and I couldn't be happier with the growth that we've experienced over this past year. It's been a hell of a time, and I'm looking forward to many more years of success to come. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. I look forward to seeing you next time, but until then, have a hell of a time in the markets.